Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Teach Me to Sports Bet. My name is Kim, and I am here with my trusty advisor, veteran sportscaster, Dave Bontempo. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Kimmy, great to see you again.
I know it's been a little while since we've been here. We've had some technical difficulties over the past few weeks, but I think they're behind us now. And I haven't done a lot of betting because I have to say there was been so many changes going on. I just felt better sitting out and waiting to talk to you again. But I have a $771 bankroll to work with, $271 up from my $500 initial investment. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, some of that's still bonus money that I have to clear, but I'm feeling good and I'm ready to get back in the game.
Well, there's nothing wrong with playing with a lead and taking a bye week when you have a lead. Because it's sensible. It is sensible, and then you come back raring to go. And sometimes taking a little bit of time off clears the head, and you notice a few other instincts when you come back.
Yeah, well, I feel like I lost all my knowledge, which might be good because in the beginning when I knew nothing, I did much better than in the end when I actually thought I might be learning something. So I sort of feel like we're starting fresh, but I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, and the thing is that, when you look at these games and they're put up, generally they're already a 50-50 coin flip because the odds makers do such a good job of putting them up there. And one theme that I think would be very helpful for anyone this week is the quarterback situation in the NFL, because over the past couple of weeks, a couple things changed radically. The biggest one is that Joe Burrow, the top draft pick in the NFL and the guy who was really guiding the Cincinnati Bengals, he's out for the year now with an injury. And that team was the best team in the league against the spread. They don't have anything to play for now. So the Bengals, even though they did cover against the Giants, they don't have their sponsor leading them out of the darkness. So, that's a real tough break for the Bengals and for people who love to bet them. The other one that comes up is the New York Giants, who are now in front in the NFC least as they have become 4-7. They were 0-5 at one point, so congratulations to the Giants. They're in first place now. But their quarterback this week, Daniel Jones, is in jeopardy to play because of a hamstring injury. Now, he's a great running quarterback. So when they play against the Seattle Seahawks, that's not good for the Giants if he can't run. The backup will be Colt McCoy. Sometimes when you have these injuries, it does affect the under in these games because the teams just can't put points on the board. And your team, the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray is getting some criticism this week because we did not see him fake the handoff and dart around to the left side and scamper as we've seen in past weeks. And that, plus some questionable coaching at the end of the first half, cost them a game against the New England Patriots. They're coming back home against the Rams. I'm wondering if Kyler Murray is going to want to demonstrate that his shoulder is okay and scamper a little bit. Even though the shoulder shouldn't affect your legs, something happened there, and he wasn't himself. If he's not himself, that team can't make the playoffs. So take a good look at Kyler Murray. There are 3 angles heading into this week.
So let me ask you that. So if I was to evaluate whether Kyler Murray is back to himself or not, how do I do that? How do I find that out before the game? Or do I watch? Well, I don't like to do in-game betting, so how do I know that?
Well, you would have to really you'd have to read the reports and then make an assessment as to what he says. Now, the first body language sign he said this week was, "Oh, no, I was fine. But it was just a system, and I wasn't really, I wasn't affected." But he wasn't running, and he wasn't a running threat. They can't win if he can't run. So you're going to want to listen to reports. That's a judgment call. You could hold back a majority of your bet and watch the first couple series to see if he is running. One thing about in-game betting, there is a misconception people have, oh, it got away from me because I didn't bet it beforehand. But if you bet it early, those lines change, but not too much. So you can watch a little bit and then still make the majority of your stake
Okay.
for the game. Because for him, if he doesn't run, that's a different team. And that would be your thing with him. With Daniel Jones, you'll know before the game. They'll decide if he's playing or not. So they'll make an announcement before game time whether Daniel Jones is playing.
Yeah.
I still think he can't, based on the way he hobbled off the field. So these are important considerations. So in the Giants case, I think they'll tell you before the game.
Well, I will say that getting closer, I'll probably bet really close to the game because there's so much up in the air this week with so many reschedules. We just don't really know what's happening day to day right now. It's crazy.
It really is. And this is the maybe the ultimate audible that the NFL is calling. And I'm hoping that some teams wake up to this. The Steelers and the Ravens have been affected. The first time a game has ever been postponed 3 times, at least, as they try to play. Right now, we know that there are supposed to be 2 games on Monday and a game on Tuesday. Believe it or not, the bettors like that. The books like that because of you get an isolated Tuesday game. Johnny Avello from DraftKings has told me that he likes that because in the MAC conference for college football, they did well on Tuesday nights when there were some scattered games being thrown in, and the bettors like a bonus night. So it affects the players, but the books and the bettors are happy about having an extra opportunity to play. And so those games will probably draw a lot. And like you say, keep your eye on the schedule. It's been changing a lot.
A lot. And that has to impact play, right?
Yes, because the Pittsburgh Steelers have been waiting to play a long time against the Ravens, and then they will have to play if everything goes well on 4 days rest, and then if they went and played right after that, they would play 3 games in a week and a half. So fortunately for them, they entered the stretch undefeated. It also affects the Ravens, who need 2 games badly, but a lot of their team is out when they play the Steelers, including Lamar Jackson. So some of these things really do matter. Eventually, the players work it out. But one thing I hope the league wakes up to, the Denver Broncos had 4 quarterbacks scratched last week because of not paying attention to COVID protocols, and they had to put their quarterback in who they had cut in September, and he wasn't even a quarterback. He was a wide receiver. So we ended up with the craziest statistic ever. The Broncos threw 1 completion, and they intercepted the ball twice. So their defense had more completions to them than the offense did. It happened 22 years ago, and then it happened to the Broncos this past week. So the players have to bear down and pay attention better. That's really an issue.
I feel that kind of irresponsibility at this level is unacceptable. I mean, they are getting paid gazillions of dollars this is their job. It infuriates me that they put other people at risk like that. It really does. I know it shouldn't, but it does.
Well, I look at it from the standpoint of the industries they also impact, the fans and the bettors. Okay. It's really, and this is avoidable. It's one thing to say, well, the virus hit us, it hit us, but here you're making choices not to be fully compliant, and you're getting a little bit lax. And when 4 quarterbacks go down on one team and they're ineligible, then you've reached a discipline standpoint problem. And the teams have to crack down on the players. I totally agree with you. It is irresponsible. Some media people are saying, look at how flexible the NFL is. Yes, but the teams are not doing a good enough job on their players. And to me, I'm with you. There's no excuse.
Okay, so pretend like I'm brand new because I feel like I'm brand new. And of course, I'm brand new in a super crazy week with all these schedule changes. What am I doing?
All right. Well, we're going to go to that next level that you
Oh God.
inadvertently hit upon back in week 5, and you said, what is this? I said, well, wait about 5 weeks, and then we'll bring it to you. Okay, Johnny Avello told me something interesting a couple weeks ago. There's a new pattern of betting people are really picking up on. It's called the alternate line parlay. And what you do is you take your favorite team, and let's say last week I did this with your Cardinals.
Okay.
You can move the point spread 5 or 6 points in your favor, and you're paying for the privilege. So you'll pay for it in the line, but you get the benefit. Now, last week, the Cardinals got moved to 5 points, and that was important because they actually lost by 3. But with this alternate line, they won. So you do that with 3 or 4 games. You move the line, you pay the price. And what happens is then you have a better chance at hitting. You have to hit maybe 3 or 4 games, but you have a better chance to hit each game. And it's fun for people because we talked before about the lines makers have made this. They're all 50-50 crapshoots because they're that good at picking the games.
Right.
Well, you're giving yourself an edge. You're moving the line. You're helping your cause, and you're paying for it, and that's okay. It's a trade-off. So my assignment for you this week, Kimmy, I want you to find 3 or 4 of those that you like. Take your original pick, go to the alternate line, move it, maybe 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, and do about 4 of those. Now, when you do that, you'll also see how your odds are.
Okay.
So if you did them originally, you're paying too much. But when you look at 3 or 4 of them before you make that bet, get it down to like it's better than even money or close to 2 to 1, and give yourself a shot at that. Plus, you'll have so much fun because there's the real line, and now there's your line because you made it. So I think there's a lot of fun in that.
Okay, so let me just walk through it just to make sure I understand. So let's say I don't know what the Cardinals are at right now.
The line is, I believe they're getting 3 points against the Rams.
So they're at -3?
A +3.
Oh, +3. Oh.
Yes. Well, we'll double check that. But in any case, you can move it 6 points, 5 or 6 points. You can move them.
So I could take Cardinals instead of at +3. I would make it like +9. +9?
Yep,
So,
or +8.
So they
whatever
could lose,
they give you.
So they could lose by 7 points and I would still win.
Yes, you would still win. And that happened to them last week. The spread, they were giving 2.5 points, and they lost by 3. But with the T's moving the line, they won. Now, that's the way it is. And whatever the line is, even if it changes and we're not quite right on that, whatever that line is, you can move it 5 or 6 points. And by doing that, by moving the line 5 or 6 points, you're almost giving yourself an extra touchdown on whatever team you play.
So who's a team that's at -7-ish?
Well, -7-ish would be, the lines are very early this week, but whomever you would find in that area, you would, there are some lopsided games this week, unfortunately. But here's one, the New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
The New Orleans Saints are giving the Falcons 3 points in Atlanta. So let's say you wanted to take Atlanta, you could move that up to +9. You could have the Falcons now getting 9 points instead of getting 3 points.
So right now it's like it's Atlanta -3.
It's Atlanta +3 right now.
Atlanta +3, and I'd move it to Atlanta. I don't understand the getting and giving. When you give points, I don't understand.
Okay, so Atlanta is you're going to win this week big, I can tell. Yeah, I can tell you're going to win big this week. Atlanta starts out, they're getting 3 points, all right?
So that
it will
means
say +3.
when they're getting 3 points, they're +3.
Yes. Now you can go to that line and you can say, I want to make it +9.
So New Orleans is giving 3 points, which means they're -3.
Correct. Okay. Now, if you want to move New Orleans by 6 points in New Orleans, you can make New Orleans +3. You can move them from being a favorite to an underdog.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yes.
Okay,
it is amazing.
So I have to pay for that privilege. I get that. But that's what I'm doing is I'm moving the line in my favor, and I'm going to put 3 or 4 games together to hopefully offset what I'm paying to move the line.
Correct. That is the exact concept. Because what you're giving now you have to hit every game in the parlay. You must hit them all, but that's the trade-off. Now I did 7 different parlays last week. I hit 4 of them, and the Los Angeles Rams cost me on 3 of them because they lost the game outright to the 49ers. You can't win them all. They lost on the last play, but that's the concept, because you're changing the odds in your favor. You're paying for the privilege, then you have to hit them all. Now, here's how bettors are taking this. A couple of weeks ago at DraftKings, somebody bet $600,000 to move the line on 4 games, Kimmy. And the idea, this bettor won. The bettor won a total of like $480,000, okay? So the bettor got back less than even money, but with $600,000, the bettor made close to $500,000. And why was that important? The bettor took the Seattle Seahawks at plus 10.5 against the Bills when they were a slight underdog. So the Bills won the game by 10.
Oh my
That
gosh.
bettor won that new spread by a half a point. So if the bettor doesn't do that, the bettor doesn't win. So people are moving all the lines. They're paying for it, and they have to hit them all. But that's a strategy that people are doing now, and it's the newest one. So think of it like this. You know how you look at Jeopardy and they have all these people playing for big money? You are now playing the Jeopardy home game.
So I just have to talk about that bet. When you're betting that much money on like a like that's not fun betting. That is, I don't understand. Like that is stressful betting.
It is not fun, especially a half a point. And Seattle had to score at the end of the game. Yeah. And you know that came down to a final play. Somewhere in there, that came down to a final play. But the concept can be there for people to play at a smaller level. And then it gives you all this action. All this action
like
you
that.
get them play.
I do like that. I have not won a parlay yet. I still am looking for my first parlay win. But I have a question for you. You said you bet 4 parlays, and you lost 3 of them because of the Rams.
No, I took 7 of them, and I won 4 of them, and I lost 3 more because of the Rams. I would have had a sweep if the Rams won.
So you're putting the same team in multiple parlays. So you either like sail away to the money land, or you get sunk when you have the same teams in the parlays.
Well, what I did, though, was I used the Rams in 3 of them, and I did not use the Rams in 4 other ones.
Okay.
So what I did was each, over the life of a couple of parlays, one team has to be your key in that group. Now, the Packers were an anchor for me in a game that I figured they would certainly win. The Seattle Seahawks were an anchor for me. Now, and the Cleveland Browns, they were an anchor in 3, but they barely won. But you have to take a risk someplace. Now, these are all money line parlays. I didn't move the lines on these.
Okay.
These were just the money lines. I took another one with Kansas City straight up, and then I moved the line on the Packers game. And the Packers, they were giving 3.5 points instead of 9, and they won by 16 points. Eventually, you'll have to make somebody an anchor, but don't put one team in all of your parlays. Okay. You can put one team as an anchor in certain groups of parlays, or take a limited parlay. Maybe take a 2-team parlay and a 3-team parlay and a 5-team parlay. But yes, you're vulnerable at some point.
Okay, so I am playing parlays, and I'm playing with alternate lines in the parlays because it's not very risky. Well, it is. It's more risky because you have to win the games, but it's a way to try out moving the lines without putting a lot of money on anything. Yes,
and it's a lot of fun. By the way, I'm getting 9 in this game. Or now here's one for you also. The Chargers and the Patriots are, I believe it's a 1-point game, close to pick 'em. You can give yourself a touchdown for either team. You can make yourself +6 on whomever you want in that game.
Right.
So that's a good way. That's a good way to that's a good way to play that. So it's fun.
Now, did you only bet parlays last week, or did you do other bets too?
You'd have to ask me, what did I not bet? But I bet lightly. I bet. I do a lot of in-game. So
Okay.
I watch the first 2 series and I change the over-unders, and I do all kinds of mixing and matching around.
Okay.
That I believe that after watching, I like a game in the 40s. Certain teams, like, they still haven't set the Pittsburgh Steelers high on the over-unders. I like playing them on the over-unders, and I play different stacks of over-unders, different levels of it. But I don't go big on any of it. I do it really as much for the standpoint of writing about it. Everything I'm telling you is a $5 pop at a
Right.
time. I might bet, I bet close to $100 over the weekend, but it was probably in about 25 or 30 bets. And I'm up $22 after all of that.
Hey, up is up.
Up is up. But it is amazing to see how the other half lives. I could not afford to play at the levels that I hear people doing.
It's
But
crazy.
it is. But they are taking a strategy. The strategy is legitimate. And they're playing, and in their case, they're leveraging a bankroll. So that's a strategy.
Yeah, but
I couldn't take the pressure.
I couldn't take the pressure either. There's just I couldn't.
But this is a good lesson for everybody, regardless of whatever level you're at. When you start to feel like it's a little bit of tension, you're going too high. It doesn't matter what your level is. And the other thing is, when people say, "Oh, I was so hot and then I doubled up and I lost," and the reason is you didn't know you were hot when you were hot and you were about to tail off. The law of averages was about to catch up to you when you just discovered that you were hot. So these things all come into play.
Okay, so it's hard to sort of pick the games to watch this week, but do you have a few? I know that the schedule changes and everything is sort of makes it a little crazy, but if you had to pick 3 games to watch this week, what would those games be?
Well, I would say that one of them is the Cleveland Browns at the Tennessee Titans, because we want to find out who the Browns are. They're 8-3, and they're playing pretty well, but they're playing some soft teams, and they're playing the Titans, who just demolished the Colts and who were in the Final Four last year. So this is a game we're going to find out who the Cleveland Browns are. That's really basically a big one. The Bills and the 49ers is fascinating and fun to me, because the 49ers now don't have a home field. They have to go to Arizona because of local restrictions. So guess what? The Buffalo Bills have to go back to where they just got beat on a Hail Mary by the Arizona Cardinals, because now this is the home field of the 49ers. So do they exercise their demons? Or are they jinxed on that field? Now, the Bills are a very good team, and the 49ers are playing for their season. So that's a good game, and that spread was 2.5, and that's Monday Night Football. We'll also have Washington for now at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Washington has a very good defense. Pittsburgh might be coming off of a small layoff if they play on Wednesday. But some games are lopsided. The NFC East, all those teams are going to be more than a touchdown underdog when they play. So they're playing teams that are superior to them. And that's basically, this is the week of lopsided lines. You were asking about sevens. At this moment, there aren't many in that category. Tennessee and Cleveland is 5.5 as we speak right now. So that might play into your theory.
So you mentioned the 49ers are playing at home in Arizona. And earlier in the series, we talked about the fact that teams at home usually had a +3, around +3.
Yes.
Does that still apply when neither team is really at home?
No, and in fact, Johnny Avello's theory is he believed it was 1.5 when there were no fans, because he thought that, okay, you don't have the noise, you still have the comfort of playing at home. I'll tell you when that might help the 49ers. Get this, the day after Christmas, they have to play a road game in, guess where? Arizona. So they just played there. They'll have played there twice at home.
Yeah.
And then when they go there the day after Christmas, they're probably going to feel like they're at home because they played 2 games there. So that's going to be a little thing in their favor, depending on where those games are. By the way, I just did think of something. You asked about a game that's close to a touchdown. The Raiders are minus 7.5 at the New York Jets. So you could tease the Raiders down to 1.5 and basically make that almost a pick'em game. And bet your house and Yuhl's house and everybody's house that you know, according to common logic.
No house betting.
But that is one that will fit into your theory of teasing a line. Okay. You can tease the Raiders down to where they basically only almost have to win the game, and that would be a good application of that formula.
Okay, Dave, I'm re-energized. I feel prepared. I'm a little nervous about playing with the lines, but I'm going to sit down with my spreadsheet on Saturday, I think, and see what's coming up for Sunday and put something together and see what happens.
You can even do it on Sunday to make your bets. You can even look at the injury reports with Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones on the Giants and see who's playing if you want to move, if you want to move certain ways. And by the way, just to tease things, we're going to talk about some props in future episodes and all these other ways to make money on realistic possibilities, things that could happen in the game to enhance the knowledge. Hey, but you're set with what you're going to do. Are you going to move these lines? Make sure that the spread, the payoff is down, even money or better in your favor. Okay. And play with it, play around with it a little bit, and you're going to have some real fun, Kimmy.
So even money in my favor means, let's just say I bet $5. I want to at least win $5 or more.
You want that thing to say plus something, or if it says minus, maybe like minus 110 or minus 103 or something like that. Depending on what game you put, as you plug it in, you'll see that parlay line change. Okay. And it will give you the payout, and then that's the proposition for you. So you can look at it first. But when you put 4 and 5 teams together, you're probably going to get 2-1, 5-2 with these if you manage to hit them all. So yeah, and good luck with all that. Yeah,
I'll be playing with some new things, so I think I'll probably need more than just Sunday morning. I think I better start on Saturday
Start on Saturday, and also make your anchor pick. Like whatever your favorite pick is, make that separate apart from the parlay, and play a couple different parlays so that one team can't hurt you. Because usually with 4-team parlays, one team beats you, so 3-teamers are good. But you'll get a feel for that, and it will definitely educate you going forward about ways you can play.
Okay, I am up to the task. Hopefully, I will win my first parlay this week.
Oh, not even hopefully. You're there, Kimmy. I'm betting on you to hit it.
From your mouth to someone up there's ears, I'll tell you that. Okay, Dave, well, we'll meet back here next week and sort of recap everything. I'll post my picks on Twitter if anybody cares. I wouldn't necessarily follow them, but I just want it there to prove that I'm not making things up.
Hey, good luck with it, and have some real fun this weekend. We'll be back.
I absolutely will. See you next week, Dave.
You got it.
Bye.